All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video as we recap everything that happened in 49er land on this Thursday as the Niners get ready to play 2 days from now against the Seattle Seahawks in Week 18 at Levi's. Now, check out Pig and a Pickle, 2 locations, Emeryville, Corte Madera. They've got a third on the way in Petaluma that will open in 2026. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. They are open from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. And they do run out, so get there early. Get some brisket chili. The brisket chili is amazing. Tell them the Krug sent you. All right, let's get right into it. Niners Seahawks go Saturday night. Rain is in the forecast and is expected in this game. Now, the Niners are listing Trent Williams with the hamstring, George Kittle with the ankle, and Ricky Pearsall with the knee and ankle as questionable for Saturday night's game against the Seahawks. Obviously, the winner gets the number 1 seed. So all those guys are questionable. Now, it's interesting. Kittle, I think, is the most interesting one because Kittle, the numbers that Seattle has this year against tight ends is not good. Seattle has not had good numbers this year defending the tight end. And so hopefully Kittle can get out there. They have one weakness. Akash Avaranthan, who we had on the show a few weeks ago, said that Seahawks are 18th in DVOA defending tight ends this season. They give up the 5th most yards to tight ends this season of all teams in the NFL. Kittle's expected to play. Tonjes is playing well. That might be advantage 49ers right there if somehow the Seahawks can't defend George Kittle. Now, Trent Williams did not practice today. He's got the hamstring. Matt Barrows said he'd be surprised if he plays on Saturday. That means more Austin Pleasance. And Pleasance, doesn't have very much experience. But Trent's got this hamstring. They don't want it to be worse. So it sounds like he's going to sit out this game against the Seahawks. Now, it does look like Upton Stout, who was in the concussion protocol, is progressing well from his concussion on Sunday. He was not in the blue non-contact jersey. Now, some people have said that it takes a week to get out of the concussion protocol. I don't know the specifics on that, if that is indeed the case, but the fact that he's not in the blue contact jersey probably bodes well for his chances to play Saturday. This is a huge one. The 49ers need this player. They don't have depth here. I mean, Chase Lucas can do the job for a few snaps. He could do the job for maybe a quarter. But, I mean, you got to have both these guys. They both have played. It's a hard position to play. And Upton Stout looks like he may go, which would be a great sign. Absolutely great sign for the 49ers. We should tell you that 49er practice reports this season are brought to you by our friends at Plank. That's right, the 50,000 square foot entertainment eatery at Jack London Square in Oakland. They just opened the Hub, a brand new sports viewing spot with a massive 30-foot media wall. They have over 70 TVs. It's the ultimate spot to watch the game. Incredible food, specialty cocktails. They got a 15,000 square foot beer garden with 49 different beers on tap. They've got 12 lanes of bowling, bocce, arcade games. If you're a Krug Show fan, you get 15% off bowling games, food, and non-alcoholic drinks. Just say that you're a fan of the Krug Show, and they will discount you. It's a great place to host a party, whether it's for your friends, your family, your team at work. Check it out, plankoakland.com. That's plankoakland.com. And thanks to Plank for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. It's a great spot. If you haven't been to Plank Oakland, check them out. Or Plank in Oakland, I should say. Check them out. You're going to love it. Awesome spot to hang out, drink some beers, and watch the game. We may even go there in the next day or two. So we're checking that out in the next day or two. We're thinking. Couple other Niner notes. So Trent Williams' hamstring did not practice. Matt Barrows says he'd be surprised if he goes. Some other notes from practice. Christian McCaffrey, as far as a couple of notes for the game, this is Nick Wagner put this out. Christian McCaffrey needs 5 receptions to pass LaDainian Tomlinson for third most catches by a running back in NFL history. LT's at 624. CMC needs 4 receptions to reach 100 for the season and become the first Niner since T.O. in 2002 to hit the century mark. The 1,000 is still in play for CMC as well, so that's something to look for. Now, one interesting note from Wagner, Keon White with his groin strain was back on the practice field today for the early portion of the practice. Now, technically, this is Thursday, but this is technically Friday's practice as far as the Niners are concerned, because it's their last practice, right? They're not going to practice tomorrow on Friday because they play on Sunday or play on Saturday. But Keon White was back on the field, and that might be a good indication that he's going to go. He's another guy they desperately need. They just need all hands on deck up front. And if Keon White, to me, is a major key in this game. Let's throw a couple sound bites in here. Here's the first one. This is Steve Weish of the NFL Network, who had a conversation recently with Kyle Juszczyk. And Kyle basically shared a story with Steve how Kyle Shanahan, called the veterans together and just told those guys, hey, look, we need you to kind of show these guys the ropes in every phase of the game. It's not just in practice or on the field, but it's conditioning, it's dieting, it's sleeping, it's how to get through the season, lifting, and all the different ins and outs. And he basically kind of told Juszczyk and the veterans, hey, you guys need to be almost like assistant coaches and bring this team along. Here's Steve Weish of the NFL Network sharing that little anecdote.
Absolutely, Tom. And people are talking about Kyle Shanahan being up for the Coach of the Year because of everything that he's done. Well, I spoke to fullback Kyle Juszczyk this week, and he kind of told me where this all started. We've heard some reports about Shanahan having a preseason meeting where he invited all the veterans over to kind of, repurpose a message, give them some leadership skill messages. But instead of saying, hey, we're going to win the division, go to the playoffs, do this, he said, we're going to be having more new players and inexperienced players than we've ever had. I need you veterans to become teachers from everything from the classroom to on the field to off the field to get these guys ready. And Juszczyk said this thing really reframed everybody's mindset, and it was a highly effective message because they did that. And this was before all the injuries. So when Nick Bosa and Fred Warner and those players got hurt, all of these guys were ready because the veterans had prepared them to step in and play up to a certain standard.
There you go, a little bit of Steve Weish right there. Another soundbite that I really loved this week, Grant Cohn asked Robert Saleh if Demo can have his way. I mean, Demo basically says he wants to travel all throughout the field, either side, with JSN. And Saleh basically said it's not going to happen. But he gave him a really good answer, and he explained kind of why. And it's funny, we always think about the basics of this thing and how it affects the guy who's covering, in this case, JSN. So Demo would have to line up with JSN on the right side, on the left side, in the slot, in the backfield. He'd always have him. And Robert pointed out that, the Niners are a zone-based coverage, that it becomes kind of complicated for the other guys, not the guy who travels, but the guys who don't. And then you also have guys sometimes playing positions that don't have a lot of experience. And then you mix in the fact that the Niners have a lot of youth in their secondary. And I think while they have it in their playbook and they could decide to go that route, it sounds like Saleh doesn't think that that's the route they're going to go. Here's Robert Saleh answering Grant Cohn on whether or not Demo Lenore is going to follow JSN Saturday night.
On Sunday, Diamador Lenore said he wanted to shadow Jackson Smith and Jigba. A couple of years ago, Travarius Ward did that here. What are the strengths and weaknesses, the positives and negatives of doing something like that from a schematic standpoint?
That's a good question. All right. We can go long on this one, but the reality is it's easy for the guy who travels, right? I got that guy, I'm going to travel wherever I want, especially since we're a zone-based defense, right? So if it was man coverage, easy for him. But then it is a little bit more difficult for the other guys. Like, how does everybody else align? Because do you go match where everyone just picks a number? What if that number's not on the field? Do you pick a different number? Do you, or is it, all right, we're all going to align off of Demo, and what if Demo's in the slot? Does that put the nickel out on number one where he's not used to being? So techniques change within your man principles because now you're in different locations. All right, now put yourself in zone. You're trying to match up where he is, and you're matching up. Now Demo's in the slot. Does that mean Upton's now playing corner third, which he hasn't done all year? And so there's a lot of new techniques that you're going to ask a guy to do. So it's very expensive, not for the guy traveling, but for the guys not traveling, if that makes sense. Now, Can it be done? Of course it can be done. Do we have it in our inventory? Absolutely. Can we? Maybe. So we'll see.
All right, there you go. A little bit of Robert Saleh talking about the challenge, I guess, of having Demo and Orr follow Jackson Smith-Njigba around the field, and it doesn't sound like it's going to be their first order of business. One thing to expect Saturday night is it's probably going to rain. Probably going to rain on Saturday night. So, Brock Purdy is going to play with the wet football, and we'll see, how well he does in that situation. One thing the Seahawks don't have is they don't have Charles Cross. They're starting left tackle. They're going with their backup left tackle, and even their backup left tackle, Josh Jones, was on the injured list. So that's a weakness for them. They don't have their starting left tackle, and they may not have their number 2 left tackle. We should tell you 49er football season all season long is presented by Sleeper, the fastest growing fantasy platform in the world. It's a one-stop shop where you get blazing fast news, real-time stats, group chats, season-long leagues, and of course Sleeper picks for daily fantasy. Use promo code Larry, and Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. Links in the description. Terms and conditions do apply. All right. I'm enjoying a little New Year's Day at home. We're going to make a ham. We're going to watch some college football. Going to watch the second half of Indiana, Alabama. Then I'm going to watch a little Georgia, Mississippi, and get ready for a big Friday. Friday on the Krug Show, Damon Bruce stops by. Chase Sr. stops by. We're going to have a segment with Dave Wyman, the color analyst for the Hawks, is going to be by. And then Saturday morning, you catch me at 10 a.m. on KMBR, and the voice of the Seahawks is going to join us on Saturday in the 10 o'clock hour on KMBR. So check that out. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle. Thanks to Sleeper. Thanks to Plank Oakland. And thanks to you guys for supporting The Krug Show on YouTube.